of course, we love the sugar maple in our state, but I also really want to promote our other lesser maple, our soft red maple, right, because of some of these climate change impacts. And so red maple is listed in that climate change tree atlas as our most adaptable tree of all of our species. It's really, I mean, think about it, it can grow in swamps, it can grow up almost the summit of Mount Mansfield, which is where I took this photo. The leaves look a little different because it has a lot of plasticity in how it will look, but that's growing almost at the summit of Mount Mansfield. That's a huge range. It can grow on very nutrient-poor sites, unlike sugar maple. And one thing, it's not a preferred species for a lot of the pests that affect sugar maple. It produces seed pretty much every year. And I will say, you know, this is stuff that has happened here at Proctor Maple, looking at syrup yields and taste of red maple sap, really on par with sugar maple. And I'm sure Mark's promoted this, but it's a really great video of Abby Vandenberg. She does a research project to look at yields of red maple and tastes of the syrup. So it might debunk some of the things we think about when we think about red maple. It doesn't taste as good, or it doesn't have as much high yields. And they really looked at this over the course of a couple years. And so when we look at red maple doing that same exercise with the Climate Change Tree Atlas, first thing you can see is that this range of sites that red maple can grow is much bigger. It just has a much bigger climate envelope. And when we look at the temperature back in the 1900s, and now we're getting into the solidly more blue area of its climate envelope. Precipitation, as with sugar maple, isn't really a big driver. It's really that temperature, average temperature change. And so when we look at what's the projected change in this importance value here in Vermont, oh, I guess I don't have a thing there, we're seeing an increase in importance value of red maple. So that means that we could see it being more competitive. We could see the trees just being more dominant in some of these sites. And so you can see that we're now on par with those same importance values of sugar maple. That red maple and sugar maple in a future climate might be very similar in Vermont.